Happy Saturday, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again. Well, I guess you can say that my predictions all came true. They went after people, they're jealous of their faces, they're jealous of the youths, and they're jealous of little girls, apparently. Yeah, a girl got her neck slashed and by the usual suspects, and it's getting so obvious as to why they're withholding the name, race, identity, this and that. People are saying he's like Algerian and shit. Let's just point out, for the sake of pointing it out, as we do on my channel, we clown, people with certain disabilities. The bald disability. This fucking bald ass loser. Like, what kind of a fucking goon do you have to be to like be balding like that and then to like attack someone basically half his age, maybe a little bit less, like older actually, slightly older than half his age because he's like 31 or something like that and she's like 17. That's just the reality that we're living in, and that's not even to talk about this other girl. I'm like learning about this French girl, and they're not releasing the name of the perpetrator. They're not like giving details, but like her name was like whatever, Liliane, sorry, and Lillian. It's a weird for French name. Okay, anyways, um, she was like complaining to the police and like saying like she was being stalked and harassed, and they did nothing about it. And this is why I say you shouldn't trust the police. You should arm yourselves. You should, travel in large groups because it's really dangerous now. It's so dangerous that I'm actually surprised that it's allowed to have gone on for as long as it has, and the control that is in place. And as a goal pointed this out almost perfectly to the letter, to the letter. So the reason why you're only hearing about this now is that the control mechanisms that were in place to censor and just hide this from the general public have been lifted. Like nobody just wants to carry on this charade anymore, or it's like it's just too hard. So what I mean by that is he was just like making a casual observation about how like Reddit was just like removing comments, and moderators were just like going scorched earth basically to rewrite the narrative. Oh, these aren't bad people or this or that. Like even Reddit as being like, one of the more cesspool-esque areas of the internet, or so I've been told. I just like go on the internet and do a Google search and it takes me there sometimes. But I've been told to like, stay off that website because it's just like it's not good. Um, they're seeing the reality of it. Everybody's seeing the reality of it. It's not compatible, and the worst is yet to come. But let me give a quick, like, cheerful aside to the man, the man behind the bands of bars and band of brothers. Salome about act like his mother. I'm referring to, yes, the one, the only Vikram Dagwa. That's right. This man is getting raped so much in jail, and the authorities and everybody's just like looking aside to like such a letter, and including the Sikhs and everybody too. It's just a fucking open secret that this guy is a fucking lost cause, and his parents, well, specifically his mother, is crying her fucking eyes out because it's like nothing's being done about it. Nobody cares about him. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like, you do some bullshit like this, and you think to yourself that, like, you can go back to the way you lived your life. Like, no, you gotta go home. You gotta leave. You gotta go back to Stinkland. You gotta inhale the fecal matter. Inhale it. you, you smoke, man. You the whole tribe. And to make things worse, like, adding to this will only like um basically in, galvanize the general public against the totalitarian force. We can't call them a government anymore. They're basically forcing you to accept violence done upon you with no capability of defense, only after the fact. And oftentimes, your defense or the defense of the citizens will be against you. You know, I don't think you are, mate. I think that like phrase is going to be echoed throughout history forever and ever as the cucked out white boy who sold out his people for, you know, tiki masala. Did he go take Vikram for tiki masala? Well, they're making tiki masala between his fucking legs and shit. Plenty of tzatziki sauce and fucking skeeting his bitch ass fucking hairy rat seek backside and shit. Fucking back shots and fucking making him suck their dick and shit. Fucking seeing his like fucking tears fucking pop pouring down his fucking bitch ass cheeks and shit. You can't do anything. He fucking speaks out. They fucking smack him around and shit. He's their bitch on a daily basis. Daily. Every day. Every day. There's no changing that. There's no denying it. It's only been, what has it been now? What was it, 8, 9 days since his stupid ass has been in jail or some shit like that? Maybe longer. I don't know. He's just getting raped. Like the Sikh he was born to be. Like the fucking bitch he was born to be. Right? Ran behind his family, his whole family, had his back and shit, protecting him and stuff. And this is how you guys operate, right? You know, you and the Packies trying to like, fucking defend your cause, right? So again, as in Gold's pointing out, like the whole dilemma of like having to trust people who are basically so obviously biased and insincere to a letter. So the example that he gave was the two Scottish sisters who were defending themselves against Romanian, I guess pimps or something, or just like some weird ass fucking illegal immigrants and shit, and trying to like sexually harass them, and they're like little kids and shit too. And of course, the cops come in and arrest the girls. They're in cuffs and shit. You see you like I've seen the video. Maybe many of you have seen it. If you haven't, you're better off because it's just like it's one of those things that incites violence. It makes you into a Rajang. You know what I mean? Or some fucking crazy ass polar bear high on fucking crack fair. That was actually a movie. Anyways, right? Like using that example, and he was just going in on them how like, oh, because everyone was assuming, right, and rightfully so, because the frequency and the volume of attacks and rapes and grooming gangs and all that shit, and like especially like when you hear Rupert Lowe speak about the grooming gangs, you realize like the actual scope and depth of how fucked up it is, and like how having people who ignore these kinds of things is just as bad as the people who do them, because it's like it's the cycle that one wheel pushes the gears and like moves the chain along, and the chain you can argue is society, but like their foot's not necessarily on the pedal. It's some like pedophile. Right? And then like this, what was his name again? Was it Hamza Youssef or some shit like that? Anyways, just some like la retard, inbred. And what he did was he also showed a clip of him talking about the protests in Belfast and how like they're burning the houses, and how it's like it's such a scary and like deceitful and like all this bad things, and he's like looking directly into the camera, and then I realized something. It hit me, and this is the title of this video. It's the human camouflage, right? I say a lot of bad things on this channel, and my opinions are my own. I don't speak for Osmond Gold or anybody else, right? I just like watch their videos and I form my own opinions based off my own like inner monologue, dialogue, whatever, right? That being said, I've noticed that, and going back, right? Like I am an Instagram addict, but I don't like just look at women on Instagram, although that is a bad habit of mine, which I admit to. I look at a lot of nature stuff, like predators, different ecosystems, and different types of tactics that animals like to use, right? One of them is mimicry or disguise, camouflage, right? Camouflage being like the most subtle version of it, like you're born with like a pattern that makes you blend in with your surroundings, which is like cool, right? But then you take it a step further and then you go into mimicry, where animals will pretend to be other animals, right? To trick predators or prey or whatever, right? And it's very effective. And it goes as far as certain animals mimicking like other animal feces, like droppings and stuff. It goes as far as that. Like we've all seen like the insects that look like branches, like twigs, like leaves. The normal camouflage, like camouflage taking it to like the next level, where you're like camouflage plus like cosplaying as like a different species, differently, whatever. But then the mimicry is what really gets to me, because it's like you have animals behaving like other animals, and then I realized something. Wait a minute, this is evolution playing itself out, like right before your eyes, right? Now, what happens if you apply that to pretty much everything and everybody around you that is doing things to you to piss you off? Like, that they're doing it to piss you off. The politicians are doing it to piss you off. The Rainbow Tribe and all these like pedophiles and all these scumbags and all the right wing and all these fuckers are doing it to piss you off. But then ask yourself, why? Right? Like, beyond the reason of their own fulfillment, what is the core reason as to why they're trying to do that? And it's in the core itself. It's in the self. It's in the soul, which, and again, I am only speaking for myself. I don't speak for anybody else. But on this channel, if you're gonna be watching this shit, right? You know, doing my own thing, got my asthma medication, so I don't get cancer. You know what I mean? Gotta get some cancer free. They don't have a soul, man. So what they do is they learn how to impersonate human beings by watching them, and they watch them so closely that their mimicry is almost spot on. And when I was watching like the clips back to back, right? Like how his demeanor was in the first clip when he was talking about the Scottish sisters versus like the Belfast protests. It's such a manipulation that once you spot it, it's like, oh shit. It's the same thing. It's like camouflage. It's like mimicry. It's like playing pretend. Pretend that you're real. Pretend that you're a human being. Pretend that your outrage, your distress is actually warranted, but not the distress of little girls or the local population. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something that you probably already know. You probably already know by now, but I got to be honest about it. A lot of the things that in society about the news, the media, all that stuff, a lot of it is most likely being swept under the rug. Now, is this an incitement for you to go out there and like, oh shit, nothing's true, nothing's real? No, that's what they want, right? That's what they want, because look at the end result of this. This isn't going to go away. The people who are leaving because of the Belfast riots, and subsequently like all across Europe, like people are getting galvanized. They're getting, militarized. To be fair, and much like, you have to take the good with the bad. You have to understand that the crack of the whip that the government loves to display, which is, and I see so many. Like, I have a habit. Like, I like to search for hot girls on the Instagram, but then like I have like a feed on my Instagram, and I just like scroll down. And for some reason, I think Instagram knows that people are like looking at my page, and they'll just like show me like whatever, or and then I just keep seeing it over and over and over and over again. And that is that the local population is not going to accept any of these illegal migrants anymore. And because of that, the government is going out of its way to make an example out of its local population. So there are like one of the first when I was just like first reporting about the riots and stuff, I reported that one guy was getting his head smashed into the pavement. Also, a bunch of other men have been put away in jail for years, multiple years. Right? This is what I mean by cracking the whip of the government. And it's also in contrast. Like I said, like these posts keep hitting me because I was interested in the whole Pakistani, like the two Pakistani brothers who were like punching those female officers and shit. And like people are saying that they didn't get time. No, like they're sentenced. They're not gonna. I think they're gonna get sentenced. Be like at a later date. I don't think they're off the hook 100%, but I could be wrong about that. And we could be living in a fucking, chaotic world and shit. But like, like you have the disparity of people possibly doing like months or less than a year versus like, people who are attacking cops and inciting a riot and they're like doing like 2 years, but it's only according to the government. These people are pissed off and they have every right to be so because the way of life that these people wanted, like the whole invasion, the whole subversion and subjugation of the local population, not only backfire, but it also strengthened the entire world against the. Like, it's kind of like, and I feel bad about saying it, but it's kind of like North America, Europe, and subsequently Australia, New Zealand got sick because they were like multicultural countries from the jump, but they got sick, and as they were battling this disease, everybody got an immunity to it, like got stronger because of it. It sounds stupid, but it actually checks out. Because when you think about like the possibility of this rearing its head in other countries and shit, but how they deal with it, right? It takes a country with like the rights that you would want to live in to say, hey, look, this is too much, this is too far, for everybody to understand that, like, yeah, this isn't just like something that people are pretending isn't that big of a deal. It's a very big deal. Excuse me. And you know what the worst part about it is? There's been a new attack too, and I barely gotten into it. It involves a bunch of school boys, so all their names and most likely identities. I think the ethnicity or whatever the ethnicities will come out are withheld, but like it's just horrific shit where I didn't want to be right about them going after the young people, but that's their tactic. That's the and I don't want to say that because it's just it's beyond obvious at this point that if we allow them to continue like this, it's just going to kill more people. Kill them. It's just it's not worth it. So I actually this time don't have a solution. I don't have one. Sorry, I don't know what to do, and I'm not trying to fearmonger or make the situation like out to be worse than it actually is because it's so bad. I don't need to do that. Like I don't think I need to like I could even like make it worse than it actually is by reporting on it, by making a video about it, by making the topic of this video the human camouflage because you just have to understand that even though it makes you feel like a little guilty inside because it feels a little wrong, right? Like you've been so indoctrinated to not feel this way, to not think like this, that the possibility of it just leaves you until you actually think about it and realize that, nature, life, the world, it's so vast, so many possibilities, but love, is just a creation, I think, that conceptually speaking, I don't think a lot of people can ever really understand fully. And I'm not trying to throw shade or anything, but it's like you find that like in certain places of the world, they kind of turn their noses up at that notion, and they think that like love is just like this bullshit. And you just get busy and have kids and work and do blah blah blah, right? And just like basically become like a cog in the machine for somebody else. Like, you never ask yourself, what is the end result of people who think like that, believe that, have children, and then progress throughout the generations? Well, you see the end result, jealousy, right?